Hello and welcome to Unacademy IAS English, a one-stop destination for the English medium civil services aspirants. In this quick video, we shall understand a very important development being reported from the United States. Just yesterday, President Donald Trump has announced the Gold Card Visa program. Donald Trump has put up the permanent residency to United States for sale at a price tag of $5 million. So this is a big change which is coming up in America's immigration policy after a series of controversial decisions by the Trump administration. After deporting thousands of illegal migrants, now the Trump administration is opening up a new path for the super rich to purchase America's PR or permanent residency through this gold card visa scheme. In this short and quick video, we shall analyze what is the gold card visa and how does it affect Indian migrants. Will Indian migrants in the US stand to benefit from the gold card visa scheme which is all set to be launched, or will it affect the lakhs of Indians who are waiting for America's PR status? So first, let's understand what is the golden card visa scheme that President Trump has announced. As I told you, this would be America's PR status for sale. If you can afford $5 million, you can essentially buy America's permanent residency through the gold card visa scheme. This is very similar to the golden visa provided by many countries, including United Arab Emirates and many other small economies, island economies, especially in the Caribbean. They often provide permanent residency and even citizenship for sale. The idea is to attract rich investors, businessmen, and the wealthy to bring some investments into their country in return for providing PR status or even citizenship. So United States is opening up such a path for the ultra rich. This would not only provide permanent residency, it would also put them on the path to quick citizenship. Because US citizenship is one of the most coveted citizenships because of the powerful passport. And despite long waiting periods, lakhs of people are denied the permanent residency status and the eventual citizenship in the US. But this path that the Trump administration is carving out creates an easy path for those who can afford $5 million. You can essentially purchase the gold card visa that gives you the right to live and work in the United States. And eventually it puts you on a fast track to citizenship without any substantial delay. So this new scheme which has been proposed will be rolled out in another 2 weeks, and it is all set to replace the EB-5 visa which is currently in place. The EB-5 visa has attracted a lot of controversy and criticism. So Trump administration is looking to replace the EB-5 with the golden card visa. So let's understand the difference between the existing EB-5 visa, how is it different from the golden visa scheme? And let's also understand what is this green card? Why do migrants from around the world crave the American green card? And these changes which are coming up, how does it affect Indian migrants? Is it positive for them or will it have a negative impact? Let's take a quick look. The green card, which is so coveted by millions of migrants who enter the US, it is formally or officially known as Permanent Resident Card or the PR card. It's often referred to as the green card because of its green colored texture. The visa stamp which is put up on the passport comes with this green textured color. Hence, it's popularly colloquially referred to as the green card. Officially, it's only known as the PR card or the Permanent Resident Card. Those who obtain this immigration status, they will get the right to live and work in the United States permanently. It brings together a number of privileges to enter the US, to stay and reside in the US, and even to take up employment in the United States. That is the reason why migrants from around the world who enter the US on different visas, they seek the path to a green card. They wait for years together. They go to great lengths to procure the green card. From even marrying an American citizen just for the sake of a green card, to even trying to meet the tough eligibility criteria and as well as in waiting in the long backlog that is present, which might extend to years together, sometimes decades together. Now, if you look at the Indian community in the US, the Indian diaspora is more than 3 million strong in the United States. Out of them, more than 1 million Indians, majority of them who are on the H-1B work visa, they are waiting in line in a backlog to eventually get the coveted green card. That is the kind of craze and demand that exists for the green card. Now, currently, the US had a process, an immigration process through which rich investors could bring some investments into the US market and they would be guaranteed a PR status in return. This was available under the existing regime, the EB-5 visa regime. It was launched in 1990. It has been implemented for the last 35 years. And essentially, under EB-5 visa, there are few requirements to be fulfilled in order to get the PR status to the United States. The prime criteria was that you need to invest anywhere between $8 lakh to $1.05 million in economically targeted areas. The idea was to attract investment into those regions in the US which is running short of investments, where employment creation has been a challenge for the US government, so that it can attract foreign businessmen, foreign investors to pay up to $8 lakh to $1.05 million and invest in such projects which can create 10 jobs at least. This was a mandatory criteria. Along with investing up to $1 million, the investment should directly create 10 new jobs in the United States for Americans. Once this criteria was met, the PR status would be provided essentially through the EB-5 visa, which would allow the investor to stay, reside and work in the US. This would put them on the path to a green card, to permanent residency. And eventually, after a few years of waiting period and meeting other eligibility criteria, they would eventually become eligible for American citizenship. So currently, this was the path to buy American citizenship. But of course, it was not a straightforward path. Even after investing this amount, you would have to create those jobs through that investment, meet other criterias, and initially use the EB-5 visa to enter the US, stay and reside in the US, then procure the green card, and then become eligible for citizenship. This was the long process that was laid down. For example, many Indians are in this queue as well, with a wait period extending to 7 to 10 years and above. Previously, this system has been heavily criticized as well, as allegedly it has been misused. In fact, Trump himself has been critical of the EB-5 visa regime. He has said it's a fraud, it's a scam, as sufficient investment is not being attracted. With just $1 million investment, Trump would allege that US is giving away PR status and eventually citizenship to foreigners. But ironically, Trump and his own family benefited from this so-called fraudulent visa scheme. Many of the investments that came through this route was mainly to fund real estate projects of the Trump family and businesses owned by the Trump family itself. In many ways, Trump and his business enterprise has misused the very same visa system which he today is criticizing. And now he is set to replace this with the gold card visa. Essentially, a PR status which is for sale, but you need to invest $5 million with no other requirements, no other caps and criterias. See, under EB-5 visa, there was a cap. Every year, a certain number of EB-5 visas would be given, which puts them on the path to a green card and eventual citizenship. But under the gold card visa proposed by Trump, there is no cap. It is proposed by Trump officials in the Trump administration that they would like to sell millions of gold cards, attract millions of wealthy investors so that it can help US bridge its trade deficit. So they're looking to sell out the PR status at $5 million with no requirement for job creation. Previously, there was a mandatory requirement that the investment of $1 million should create at least 10 jobs in the American market in the economically targeted area. This criteria is going to be removed, and it will create an immediate pathway to citizenship without any backlog and without any waiting period. So this is basically a green card for sale, which eventually paves the way for American citizenship. It will make it easier for the wealthy, the super rich, to easily get hold of America's PR status and eventually American citizenship. Now, of course, this policy will impact Indian migrants, both positively and negatively. Especially the super rich, the ultra rich can take the full benefit of this. The millionaires in India who are looking to escape India's rigid taxation system, who are looking to run away after committing frauds, it's going to become easy for them. By just investing $5 million, they can procure the gold card visa being offered by the Trump administration and shift base to the US and eventually even hope to get the American citizenship with a fast track process. But however, the millions of common Indians, lower middle class Indians who struggle to go to the US to live the so-called American dream, they will continue to struggle. They won't be able to afford the $5 million price tag for the gold card visa. But the question is, can H-1B visa holders, can they still apply for gold card visa? The answer is yes. Those who are currently working in the US on H-1B visa or EB2, EB3 visas, which are for professionals who have certain skills, they will also be eligible, but if they can provide the $5 million investment, which may not be possible for everyone. So this can crowd out the availability of the PR status and the citizenship in the US, denying the opportunity for millions of Indians, whereas those with the money, those who can afford the price tag, for them it will be an easier path. So for rest of the Indians who are in this queue, in this never-ending, multi-year-long queue, what are the other options available for getting PR status and eventual citizenship in the US? The existing options will continue. The O1 visa, which is given for highly skilled individuals in certain domains of technology, research, arts and business, they will be eligible for O1 visa, which will put them on the path for a EB1 green card and eventual citizenship. And here the wait time is very less. There is not much of a backlog. But to be eligible for this stream of immigration, you need to possess high skills in the specified sectors. Then the most common visa given out to Indians, which is H-1B, EB2, EB3, which is given out for skilled workers and professionals. This is the current path which is available, but its drawback, as we discussed, is the long waiting period. There is a huge backlog which is not being cleared. There is a cap on the EB5 visa that currently operates. Now with the gold card visa replacing it, this backlog will continue. So this will be the slow drawn out process for H-1B and EB2, EB3 visa holders for America's PR status. Then finally, you have the L1 visa for business owners and executives. But again, the eligibility criteria are very challenging, very difficult. And maybe every Indian may not be able to meet the criteria. So this brings into question the controversial immigration policies of the Trump administration. How does it affect the Indian community? And is it still time to think about the American dream? Because every year, lakhs of Indian students aspire to study in the US, eventually with the hope and dream of settling in the US, working in the US, maybe eventually acquiring the PR status and the citizenship. Now, given the instability that has been caused in the American immigration policy, how it could affect Indians adversely as well, do you really think the American dream is still something that we should consider, or should we look beyond that? Should we think about staying in India, studying in India, working in India and contributing to our own country? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. So if you like the video, don't forget to press the like button, do share your comments and do subscribe to our channel. That is it. Thanks for watching.